Did you know your lack of ankle mobility could be offsetting your balance and causing a possible fall or serious injury in the future? Did you also know that your lack of ankle mobility could be hindering your sports performance or your performance at the gym? If not, stay tuned. I got my top 5 ankle mobility exercises that are going to set you on the right path to fix all those things in as little as 2 to 4 weeks. All right, so before we go through our 5 exercises for better ankle mobility, let's discuss a little bit why it's important to have ankle mobility. Number one big thing is it's going to help improve your gait. What does that mean? You're going to have better body control. You're going to be able to move through space and time better and better alignment. If you don't have the range of motion and you have too much stiffness in your ankles, that's going to go all the way up the kinetic chain. If you have stiffness in your ankle, it's going to offset and maybe have some stiffness and pain in your knee, maybe some ACL tears, maybe you have some Achilles tears as well. That's going to bring it all the way up to the knee. You're going to have possible meniscus and maybe some lateral tracking or some medial tracking in your patella. You're also going to have some tightness in your hip and maybe some problems in the future with that as well. The point of it is one thing in your kinetic chain that's tight or that doesn't have the proper range of motion or mobility offsets everything else all the way up. So we have a tendency not to think about our ankles as something that we need to stretch or something that we need to keep mobile. All right, so again, if you have a better in alignment gait, so if you have better alignment throughout your whole body, you're going to be reducing inflammation, you're going to be reducing the stress on your tendons and ligaments throughout your body, and you're going to have overall better body control, which is going to help improve your sports performance and just your overall performance in general. Okay, the other big things is you're going to have better lateral movement. Okay, you're going to move better laterally. Studies are showing that better ankle mobility gives you better lateral movement and a lot of sports performance. Examples are tennis, baseball, soccer, okay, rugby. I can go on and on. Basketball. All right, there's a lot of lateral movement throughout all our lives, especially with the athletes, but if not just athletes, normal people. If we don't move in these planes of motion and our body's not used to moving laterally, when we do move that way and there's not that proper mobility or range of motion, we're setting ourselves up for a fall or a serious injury, okay? Also, not having proper ankle mobility is going to hinder our compound movement. So if you're trying to get those squats and activate those right muscles and you don't have proper dorsiflexion, okay, when you're squatting and your heels are going up, that's going to put a lot more stress on those joints as well. We're going to go through 5 mobility exercises that are going to help improve all that. We're also going to show you how to test to see if you have proper ankle mobility and proper range of motion to begin with. It's called a dorsiflexion test. If you do this test and you're within the proper averages for males and females, then go ahead and skip this mobility exercise routine and go on to some of our other Fit After 40 videos. If not, do these exercises. We're going to recommend that you do these exercises every day for 2 weeks. If you do see some improvements, then go on to 4 weeks. And after 4 weeks, you're going to see some amazing results in your range of motion and your mobility and your ankles that you haven't had in a while. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to go through those 5 mobility exercises right now. All right, so as you can see, I got all my equipment around here. You're going to need a stretching strap. You're going to need a measuring tape, and you're going to need a gym mat. That's it, and maybe a wall, okay? So if you want to have a wall space somewhere. All right, we're going to go through those 5 exercises. And remember, you want to do this routine every day for your ankles for 2 weeks, and you're going to see a significant improvement in the mobility in your ankles. The first exercise we're going to get started with is an alternating negative calf raise. Now, the reason we're doing this is we want to do a lot of eccentric loading, okay? Because in the eccentric or the negative range of motion of a muscle, it's stronger and you can handle more load, right? So this is a great way if you have pain to not just go into that calf raise, but to slow it down on the lengthening part where it's a little bit stronger, okay? We always recommend in the fitness industry to doing heavier weights on that eccentric part, okay? Not the shortening part, which is the concentric, okay? So what you're gonna need, again, you don't necessarily need a step, but if you have a step, that's great. You can do this on the ground as well. Okay, I'll show you how to do it right here on the ground, and I'll show you how to do it on the step as well. All right, so if you have a step, you want to get on the step, and what you're going to do is you're going to raise your body up onto your toes with both sides. You're going to leave one side contracted, so my right side's going to stay contracted. Then I'm going to slowly drop my left leg. Okay, all the way down, holding that for 2, and then you're going to come up for 1 second. Now, I like to say a habit of 5-2-1 tempo, which just means you're going to go down for 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 2, 1, 2, and then come up for 1. Squeeze in the back of that calf, and then you're going to drop that other side. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to go up. Okay, and you just continue that. So the other one is contracted while you're doing that eccentric loading on the other side. 4, 5, and hold, and up. All right, so the next exercise is going to be an ankle alphabet, or a seated ankle alphabet. And you can do this lying, or you can do this standing, however you feel comfortable. I like to cross my leg over. Okay, it takes a lot of stress off my leg, and just start, as the name implies, you're using the toes as like a paintbrush or a pencil, and you're writing the alphabet. So I go A, B, C, D. You can do this exercise with your leg up like this, okay? And just go through the alphabet. C, D. Go through the whole alphabet on each side, and then you'll come back around on the next set and do it again. The whole alphabet, one foot, and then the other foot. You can also grab underneath. So there's a couple different options for it. You can grab underneath, holding your knee like this, and then go through the alphabet as well. It's just a really good way to go through all the different ways the ankle moves. The ankle moves 6 different ways. All right, it doesn't just move back and forth. It moves all different directions: medial, lateral, eversion, inversion, okay, plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. So it moves all different ways. So make sure that you're just moving it to loosen up all that connective tissue. All right, so the next exercise we're going to be doing is what I call ankle rotations or ankle movements with the stretching strap. Again, it's very similar to that alphabet movement. We're not doing the alphabet, but we're just trying to move the ankle in all different directions while it's on a stretch. So the strap is a great way to do that. You can get a belt if you don't have a strap at home, just some type of generic belt. And just because you want to use the belt because it's going to help you floss and move that ankle in different directions, okay? So I'll show you how to do it lying, and then I'll show you how to do it seated if you can't get on the floor, all right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to have that strap. I like to put it right at the midpoint of the foot, okay? And you're going to just kind of pull one direction and then move your ankle to the other direction, okay? And so there's so many different ways that you can do this. Keep your calf at a stretch by pulling it towards you, so making your foot dorsal flexed, not plantar flexed. And as you're pulling it, move your ankle against that pull in all different directions, okay? Plantar flex, dorsal flex, eversion, inversion, medial, lateral movements. Just move it all around while you have it on a stretch. Try to keep your knee locked at the same time too. So you're working all that tough connective tissue, maybe even some scar tissues developed over the years that just doesn't want to loosen up. So move it all different directions while you're pulling it in towards you, okay? You can do this for 30 to 60 seconds or even longer, 60 to 90 seconds if you're really stiff, on each foot. Now let me show you how to do this seated, because a lot of times people in our older demographic can't get on the floor, okay? So again, we want to put that strap in the mid part of our foot. Okay, and like I said before, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. And let me scoot back a little bit so you can see this. All right. You want this at a complete stretch again. So I'm pulling it in towards me, and then I'm resisting against it by doing plantar flexion, dorsal flexion, moving in all different directions. Okay, eversion, inversion. So we're just doing all different directions here while it's on a stretch. If you can't hold it in that position, again, you can cross your leg, move it around, right? You can stand up, hold it on this one, maybe move it around. It is a little bit easier now that I do that to do it seated. So if you can't get on the ground lying on your back, do this seated. Again, it's a great way to just loosen up all that whole area in your ankle, all right? All All right, so the next exercise is going to be a wall lean soleus stretch. Soleus muscle is an amazing muscle that goes from below the knee to the heel, and it helps you walk, run, maintain your balance. It's not thought about a lot, and we usually think about calves, but that soleus muscle is equally important and very important to stretch too, because it definitely gets overused. Its major function is to plantar flex the foot. So it makes sense if you're plantar flexing to stretch it, you want to do dorsal flexion, which is a lot of the exercises we're doing today. So you'll see this all the time if you go on the internet on how to stretch this muscle. We're just going to make sure we break it down. So the front foot is going to have a little bit of give in it. You're in a staggered stance. Your focused leg is this back leg, this extended leg. Okay? What you're trying to do is give that knee a little bit of a bend, but keep your heel on the ground at the same time. Okay? A lot of times you'll see with that calf stretch, people are just extending that knee. This one gives a little bend in the knee, but still keep that heel on the ground. Okay? And you're just trying to stretch. You want to feel that stretch deep on this lower part right in here, okay? And so you can adjust your body. Maybe you want to bring your leg a little bit closer to the wall to feel that stretch, bring it a little bit further away. Everybody's range of motion is a little bit different, but just make sure to give a little bit of bend in that knee, okay? And as you're bending that knee, you're trying to keep that heel on the ground. Again, you want to hold this stretch for about 60 to 90 seconds. So we're going to hold it for a little bit longer than what we normally hold our stretches for. And then switch and do it on the other side, okay? So again, bending that knee, keeping that heel at the ground, okay? Feeling that stretch in that lower part of the leg. Hold it for 60 to 90 seconds. All right, the last exercise is one of my favorite stretches for the calf, is a toe up the wall calf stretch, okay? So what you're going to do is bring your toe up the wall. So keeping your heel on the ground and your toe on the wall, this puts a really good stretch already on that from your base of your heel all the way up to the back of your knee. And then how you move your body and adjust intensifies the stretch, okay? So you're facing forward, my toes up the wall, heels on the ground. I'm going to lock that front knee, okay, and then stick my butt out, okay? Facing forward, and again, you want to hold this stretch for 60 to 90 seconds. Now, right now, I feel a lot of it, okay, in the back behind my knee, the hamstring, all the way up to my lower back. If you want to feel it more in your calf and your Achilles, you bend that front knee a little bit and just kind of hold this position, and you're going to feel that stretch from that Achilles area that is calf attached all the way up, kind of in that soleus and then back in the gastroc as well. So bending that knee just a little bit, give in the front, okay? And then your hands around it, you're facing forward, feel that stretch in the Achilles, and then switch it up. Extend that knee, stick your butt back, get a little bit of a deeper calf stretch too. The higher angle you have on your calf or your foot, the more you might feel it in the arch of your foot, which is always good as well too. But it's just a great overall way to hit multiple areas in that lower limb, stretching the fascia and such. So again, try that out. You're going to be doing 60 to 90 seconds each leg. Okay, so let's do a dorsal flexion test. It's probably one of the most common ways to assess how tight your ankles are, how limited your range of motion is, how good or bad your ankle mobility is. Maybe you don't even need to do this routine. So let's go ahead. What we're going to need is a measuring tape. You're going to put it on the floor, all right, from the wall all the way back. And what you're going to do is you're going to place your front foot starting with your toe, front toe, touching the wall. And that back leg can be bent and just kind of hanging out. Don't extend it because it's going to limit your front leg from flexing. So kind of just let it bend and hang up, about a foot away from that their front foot. So what you're going to do is you're going to bend that knee and bring it to the wall. As soon as that knee touches, that's where you're at. That's where you want to stop. Okay. So then you move kind of a couple inches back. Move your foot a couple inches back and try that flexion again. Your goal is to get your knee to touch the wall without your heel coming up. It's testing your dorsal flexion, all right? And if you can keep touching that knee to the wall, then you can scoot back a little bit more, a couple inches back a little bit more. And then you try. And you keep going till you get to a point where that heel comes up a little bit right before you touch that knee to the wall, okay? Then maybe scoot up a little bit and try it again. And once you find that sweet spot where you're basically barely touching that knee to the wall without getting that heel up, that's where you're at. And then you take that measuring tape and measure it. So I'm at about 5.5, and that's pretty average for most males. Most males we're looking at 5.5, inches for normal ankle mobility, and females we're looking at about 4.5 inches. So if you're within that range, then you have really good, that you have pretty average ankle mobility. You can do this routine if you want to improve your range of motion, or maybe skip it all together and check out some of our other videos. But if you're below that, then definitely do this whole routine every day for 2 weeks and you'll see a great improvement. If you guys like this ankle mobility routine, let us know in the comments below. Always remember, like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Let us know in the comments if you want any other mobility routines. And remember, be safe, be active, be healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.